I'm on Porsche Drive to get to know Matt with LaMarsh Landscaping. Throwing stuff out there sometimes.
Well, we got soaking wet.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know.
I'll ask you one more question before it starts to rain, apparently. Is it like rain? Is it raining? Is it about to start pouring right this second, or is that wind?
No, I think that's right.
Holy... So we just went on the go-kart ride of a lifetime. Was it 55 to 60 miles an hour?
55 to 60, yeah.
And then it started pouring rain.
We got a little wet.
Got a little wet, a little soaked. But
it was fun though.
Yeah, it was.
We learned a lot about ourselves as drivers.
Yeah, it leveled the playing field, you know. The pros weren't as good as they normally are, and the rookies seemed a little bit better. They weren't as bad as we normally are, so it leveled the playing field. We were all over the place, all over the track. But this is an awesome place, like location here. Like what like tell us a little bit about this whole situation. Like where are we and
Sure.
what do you even know about this?
Yeah, so we're out here at Atlanta Motorsports Park today. We were just on their kart track. They also have a car track here, and you know, I kind of got involved in a business a couple years ago with a partner that kind of introduced me to this world and this whole lifestyle.
Cars in the background, man. Sweet.
Yeah. Right. No, that'll add to it. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Don't edit that out.
Exactly.
No, so cars and going fast has always kind of been a passion of mine, you know, and this is a legal way to do it, that you can't get in trouble with local enforcement, but he and I kind of started a business 2 years ago, and you know, we learned a lot over the last 2 years. We have since closed the business and decided to kind of go in different directions on it, and really that was just because there was too much of a challenge. When people in the industry, smart people, are telling you this probably isn't a good idea, you tend to listen to them.
Yeah.
And as much of a go-getter as I am, and as much as my partner really wanted to make this work, it just didn't work. But you know, we still have this lifestyle, and this is, you know, kind of an outlet for me, more or less. I was just trying to build a business that I could kind of build along with my passion. Yeah. So, but anyway, there's tons to do out here, and lots of cars. But it's just fun, you know. Growing up, always kind of being a car guy, having a dad in the car industry, in the auto industry. You know, I enjoyed being around it. We had little toy cars and stuff. We had little toy cars and stuff, and then of course when I was 16, man, that day I went out and got my license and wanted the fastest and the best, and so this has just always been a fun thing, a fun outlet for me. And like I said, I wanted to attach a business to it. So we're not completely done yet. We haven't quite figured out what the next step is, but you know, we ran into enough challenges that it was like, maybe we need to reconsider how we go about doing this, you know, and go about it the right way. There's a point at which you stop trying when people really, really smart are telling you to stop trying, and that's the only reason I stop. It's the only reason I give up on an idea, when someone that knows more than me is telling me to reconsider. So,
but it's still an experience, like you said, and it can lead on to something else.
And it teaches me, it teaches me more about myself and the type of entrepreneur that I am and that I want to be, and then it teaches me too about the next lesson, the next thing, and how we can turn, you know, something like this last 2 years. How do we take the positive from it? How do we learn from it? Where's that silver lining? and what did we learn about ourselves as business owners and as entrepreneurs, and how do we parlay that into the next thing?
Right. And at the end of the day, you still love fast cars. It's
Absolutely.
not like that disappeared.
That didn't go away.
It's not like anyone can take that away
That's
from
right.
you. So that's still ingrained in you. So you
That's
still
right.
have that. So.
And it's still, you know, a lot of people say don't mix your passion with your your business, and let's keep those separate. And I'm completely the opposite. I love lawn care and love landscaping. I love cars, and I wanted to do something because it doesn't feel like work then. Yeah. You know, you're excited to be out here.
Right.
Fast cars zooming around, and it's just fun. It's a fun environment. It doesn't feel like work, and it doesn't feel like you're really trying. Oftentimes, I mean, the connections you get to make, the people you get to meet in the last 2 years has just been phenomenal, and I know those relationships will help me with the next thing.
Yeah.
And to me, that knowledge and those relationships will be lifelong things, you know. No one can ever take that away. Like you said,
Right.
No one's going to take the cars away. They'll always be here. But how do you learn, pivot, adjust, and then move on to the next thing?
Right. So what were you saying about work-life balance? I know it's an important thing to you.
Yeah, work-life balance is key if you're going to be an entrepreneur. If you're going to be in business for yourself, you have to learn to balance work and balance life, because as soon as that gets out of balance, as soon as one thing is more prevalent or takes over more of your attention than the other, you're sunk. You're just sunk. And it's okay to have seasons. Like when I first started my business, there was 6 months. I told my wife, there's going to be 6 months here that I'm going to work every day of the week to make this business a business. So Saturday, Sunday, I was out working, literally working, and then through the week, you know, my full-time job, and then at night, hustling on social media, trying to build up the business, trying to build up the reputation, trying to get the word out even about the business. And, you know, that balance or that season took a wear. You know, there were missed events and missed birthday parties and, you know, family stuff that I missed because I was going to sacrifice for that season. That's not the business that I wanted to build. I told my wife, I said, I'm building this and I need this season, I need this hustle for a while to get to the next thing, to get to the next level, so that I can back off of it, so that I can have that work-life balance, so I don't have to depend on a full-time job, and so that I can depend on this business to do what we got to do. I think if you got to communicate what kind of balance you want, whether it's from yourself to your wife, to your significant other, even to your family. I think, you know, that 6-month period was really difficult because even though I communicated it was going to happen, when you're in it, man, it's hard. It's a challenge, and if you don't communicate it, it's going to be even more difficult. And so if you can communicate it and then keep those lines of communication open, that look, it's going to be this 6-month period and we're 4 months through it, we're almost there, well, let's just make this last 60-day push, let's get to it, let's get through it, and then we'll be smooth sailing. But then once that season is over, you really got to adjust. If you don't come out of that season, if you don't adjust back to something that is palatable for you and your significant other, for your family, for your friends, like, I mean, there's a lot of value to me in being able to go through that season, but then change it and make that adjustment so that you don't build the type of life that you don't want. I mean, I've built a business now that I want. I'm living life exactly on my terms, doing exactly what I want, going where I want to be, being with the people that I want to be with. And if you don't sacrifice, if you don't give up some of that season, you're never going to get there. You're just never going to get there. So balance, giving it a lot of communication, but also just perspective. When you're communicating with your significant other, for me it's really easy that I'm just able to say, look honey, there's going to be this amount of time that I need to dedicate to build this business, to do what we got to do and get to the next layer and the next level, but then hold to it. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be willing to put in that a little bit of time, and then you got to change. Because if they don't start to see the change, you know, your word's going to start to really lose a lot of its temperature. It's going to really start to fall on deaf ears.
So do you have a couple of tips or anything, or things that you've done that are successful, like, you know, like little hacks type thing?
Absolutely.
You know, like,
Absolutely.
Like I know, like after a certain time at night, I remember on Snapchat you would say that like you're not available after a certain time. It's all family time, something like that.
I'm so obsessed with time management now. Like time management to me is why I'm able to do what I'm able to do, not just in my business, but I mean, I don't know how much of you guys know this or not, but I'm the president of our homeowners association. I'm the social chair for the local Porsche club here, the Porsche Club of America in Atlanta. I am involved with the Sandy Springs Council of Neighborhoods, which is a group of neighborhood leaders that get together and talk about zoning and what's going on with the city and changes that are being made. I'm part of the zoning advisory board that is appointed by the mayor that, we look into zoning issues and how we can change the law to better kind of fit our community and what we want to build. And so, just in those 4 things, forget the fact that I'm a husband and a father and a business owner, like just those 4 things take up, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 hours a month outside of your business, outside of your life. And again, just a lot of communication on, look, I'm going to dedicate an hour of this week to my homeowners association. I'm going to dedicate 2 hours a month to the Porsche Club, and I'm going to, you got to start carving up your time, but then you got to hold to it. So for me, time management's huge. And then again, communication is key when you have other people in your life. If you're a single guy out there and you got no one to answer to, man, this is so easy for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like so easy for you.
Yeah.
But time management's crucial because a lot of people will look at me and go, man, how do you stay on top of things? How do you respond to all those emails? And how do you keep in the loop with all this different stuff that's going on? It's like time, man. It's just time. Like there are nights that I'm up till 1 o'clock, and then there's nights that I'm in bed by 10. It's trying to figure out, what do you want to do and how do you want to do it, and then go and execute. Because we can talk about being involved in all of this stuff, but it doesn't really matter until the rubber hits the road. And so, I communicate what I want to do, and like I said before, I'm doing what I want to do. None of this stuff, none of these things are things that just fell in my lap, and now it's like, oh, I gotta go do that. All of these things, all these organizations, and my family and the business, these are all things that I want to invest in. They're things that I like doing, and I like being a part of.
So like for time management, do you like block out your time at all?
Absolutely.
What are some tips for actual time management?
So I live and die by my calendar. I live and die by it.
Like on your phone?
Absolutely. And what I mean by that is that I got my work schedule built in there, so I know what we got to get done every week. I live by the hour, and so every hour is spoken for. Every hour is dedicated to that level of precision. And I even tell a lot of my customers, I'm like, look, when I'm out on your property, I'm happy to talk with you, and I'm happy to address issues and concerns and challenges that are going on. But at the same time, when I'm doing that, you're in that hour, you're in that half hour, you're in wherever you are. I have to be respectful to my next customer, and I have to be respectful for every customer on my schedule. If I've dedicated an hour to your property or a half hour to your property, and that's what you're paying me for, that's what you're getting me for, And I'm not rude about it, I'm just very honest that, look, I don't even answer the phone while I'm on your property, like I'm dedicated. We're here to do good quality work, and I'm doing that work, and I need time to do it. And then if I got 5 minutes at the end of that hour or half hour, whatever, and there's something that we need to address, I prefer email, because then I have documentation. Then I can then put that in my calendar and say, okay, the next time I'm at XYZ property, take a look at that bush, or make sure that part of the yard gets hit, or whatever happens.
And also my thing is you can also then respond to that on your time, and not have to stop what you're doing to call them or talk to them on the phone. Like email or text me, and then I can respond to you when it's in my schedule. It's on my time.
Exactly. And again, it's not that I don't like talking with customers and engaging with them, when we're in the heat of it, but at the same time, I do need that time. Sometimes I need to figure out, okay, was it done last time? Was it something we genuinely missed? Or did we just drop the ball? Or is this something that we've never talked about, never agreed to? Communication's key, just pure key. And so I live and die by the calendar. I really do carve out time, and man, I'm hard about it. Like I'll walk into meetings for those organizations or for, whatever, and go, look, It's 12:55 right now. We said we're going to do an hour here. At at 2 o'clock, I'm out of here. Like, whether we're done or not, I got to get on to the next thing. So let's all be mindful of our time.
Right.
That's really the asset here, whether it's in your business or in these other organizations that you're involved with. Time is just your asset, and if you don't look out for it, no one else is going to. I mean, legitimately. People. I mean, I hear it all the time. You can jam 10 pounds of stuff into a 5-pound bag, and it's so true, man. Like, people will take advantage of your time, they'll take advantage of you, and if you do not become, just religious about your time, you will fail. You will end up looking up 10 years from now going, what happened to the last 10 years? Why wasn't I able to grow my business? Why wasn't I able to get more involved with this or do that or spend more time with my kids? I mean, legitimately, when I was on Snapchat, doing daily video and daily vlogs and that kind of format, when I started it, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know why I was doing it. Really, I was out there alone. I just needed like an outlet, But at like 4 o'clock, man, I cut it off, and that was it. That was done. From 4 to 8, man, I'm focused on my family and dinner, and my wife works as well. So there's always tension. There's always that pull from, what are we doing with our time, and how are we spending our time? And both my wife and I love to dedicate our evenings, especially when the kids are in school and we aren't able to see them during the day. Like, man, that 4 hours is us and it's them, and we completely shut it off. And I took a lot of my cues from Gary Vaynerchuk on that, because I think he talks a lot about work-life balance, and probably no one hustles harder than that guy, but that's what I aspire to. Like, I want to be a great father, I want to be a great entrepreneur, I want to be a great businessman, and I want to be a great husband, and I want to be all of these great things, but at some point, one of them has to give up. Like, you just have to figure out who you are and what you want, and then does one of them fall off? Like, I'm pretty sure this is the last year I'm going to be the president of the HOA, because I just don't have any more time. I can't dedicate more time. It's starting to pull at me where it needs more time, and I can't give it more time. But what I have to do, and what we have to do as business people and entrepreneurs, is we have to look out for our time and go, can I spend that time there? Is it still something that I can give 100%? Because if I can't, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time.
Stuff out there sometimes.
Well, we got soaking wet. That's all you really need to know. Imagine hitting a million raindrops at 55 miles an hour. That's what it's like. Stick your head out the window on the interstate next time it's raining. That's what it's like.
So tell us a little bit about LaMarsh Landscaping. How did that all start?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple years ago I was working for corporate America, and I just got to a point where I was sick and tired. It was a great job, a great company, and
corporate America, huh? Sounds familiar.
Right. No, I worked for Staples, the office products company. I worked in their facilities division, and man, it was a great experience. I loved the company. I loved the people I work with. It was a challenging role. I got to kind of make my own schedule, and had quotas to meet, and it was a typical sales position, but I just still wasn't satisfied, and my wife always kind of makes the joke, if you can't be satisfied doing that, you're just never going to be satisfied working for anyone else. And that was kind of what spurred that moment for me when I started the business. So we started in September of 2015, and next month we'll have 3 years under our belt, 6 months part-time working on the business while working my full-time job, and now about 2.5 years or so of full-time. This is my income, and this is what I depend on. So I've learned a lot, and it's one of those things that I wanted to really prove it to myself that I could do it. And so when I started getting the marketing together, when I started building the logo and getting kind of an idea of what this thing could look like, I felt like there were people counting on me, and I felt like there were people kind of pushing me to do it. And honestly, that's how it got started. So I wanted to be in business for myself. I had done it in the past and failed pretty miserably, but I needed to kind of dust myself off, get back up, and try it again. And it's been great. The last 2.5 years have been unbelievably successful for us, and we've, like I said, learned a lot. We've made some adjustments. We used to do a lot of projects and, you know, take on a lot of different things that, you know, just really made money. Weren't always what we wanted to do, but have now just focused in on maintenance, and that is our bread and butter, and that's where we live now, and
That's
we're really good at it.
Yeah, what are some of the things that you do now?
So it's 100% maintenance. You know, one of the things that I kind of pride us on is that we are 100% serviceable. We really only operate at like 80 to 90% capacity. So there's weeks that we just take Friday off. There's weeks that we have no work on Friday. And you know, some of that's by design. I didn't want to build a business that stressed me out or that put me over what I was capable of. And so, you know, I'm happy to say the only thing that ever messes us up is the weather and stuff I have zero control over. Everything else is we're on time and we're there and the job is consistent and we're good at it, and you can depend on us, because that to me is one of the kind of hallmarks of this business is dependability.
What's one piece of advice that you would offer someone starting out that you've learned in the last 3 years?
Yeah, don't bite off more than you can chew. Your reputation is worth more than the short-term dollars that you could realize. So a big project comes along and you might be able to handle it or you might not. Don't take it. Just don't take it. Be patient. The process will work itself out. You'll get to a point where you are comfortable taking on a project that size, that you know you can deliver upon it. My thing is that my name is right on the trailer, and people see that, man, and they attach you to the business and your reputation to you and the business, and once that's sold, you can't get it back. Once it's out there, you can't get it back. There's always going to be crazy people in this world. There's always going to be people that, you know, say good and bad things about what you do or how you do it, and that's all about setting expectations. You know, I can't serve everyone, and I can't serve everyone well without trying, and I try really, really hard. So we don't take on work that we can't do. We don't take on work that I'm not comfortable trying or that I don't feel like we're going to be successful with. For the short term, you don't make as much money, you don't get there as fast as you want, but in the long term, it allows you to build your reputation, it allows you to charge the right price, and allows you to charge more over time, and then it allows you to really perfect your craft, in my opinion.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you very much for letting me come by.
Anytime you want to come go-karting, rain or shine,
rain or shine,
we'll make it happen.
Next
time we'll get you in a car, though.
Oh, that'll be sick.
Hopefully no rain there, because that's going to get sketchy.
Yeah, that would be scary.
Thanks for coming by. Thanks for the time. Thank you guys for watching. I'm so happy and proud of what you've done with this series, man. It's really cool, and you know, I love what you say about, you know, you've heard my story, now it's time to hear theirs. I really love that, because to me that's what makes each one of us unique. Each, you know, a million different guys out there can be, you know, mowing lawns. It all looks the same, man. Dig into who you are and what makes you unique and authentic. Dig into that part and then uncover it and then bring it out.